Doing all right?
I'm good,
Come on.
coach. How are you?
I am doing okay. I'm living the dream. What else am I
Yes?
gonna do?
Where are you living the dream? Tell us.
Uh, well, I mean, to be perfectly honest and not to get too motivational speakerish, listen, I woke up this morning. It could have been done. The big guy upstairs could be like, listen, your time is over. And I could have been one of 389,000 people. Done. But not today.
Not
So I'm
today.
here
Not for
with
Coach
you.
H.
No, no,
All
no.
right. So tell us who you are. Why you think you're here?
I mean, why do I think I'm here? Well, great question. I don't know. I never know the answer to those questions. But all right, listen, I'm Coach H or Hernando outside the US and America. I'm Hernando. Uh, I've been a coach for 20 something years. I don't want to give away my age too bad. I'm currently the technical director of the NBA basketball school. I also co-own a production company called Game Changing Films, where we work with sports, so a lot of coaching involved with different actors. And then I also run a Be Contagious Leadership, which is a leadership boutique consultant firm. That sounds really fancy.
It
So I
is.
put the word boutique in there. And in that time, I've coached amazing schools like Duke University. I've had 12 WNBA players. I was with the Boston Celtics and their G League team and coached New Zealand national team and just been blessed with a lot of different opportunities and experiences around the world.
Sounds great. But which one was your favorite?
Oh, you can't pick a favorite. No,
I'm
no, it's
putting you
so
on
hard.
the
It's the
spot
same thing.
today.
I, they always say like I travel a lot, the same thing like you, and they're always like, "What's your favorite country?" I don't know. So I love. I mean, basketball has given my career for the last so many years, right? Played it and I just love it. The competition, the artistry, all that. Um, working on film, I love the storytelling aspect of it. And I think that would probably be my favorite. The stories behind everything, right? The story behind a championship team, the story behind a player who was cut and then came back. Like, what are those things in life that kind of take you to another level? And then the other side of it is that I love the sort of like the mind work. Like, how does someone's mind gets changed, adjusted, strengthened, so that they can either play at a high level, live at a high level, give at a high level, right? All those things that are so important, as I get older, and I think sharing with different players.
Yeah, that's a very big conversation we could keep having for hours, I think. But
Yeah,
now you're working with young athletes, younger than before, right?
right.
So how do you feel about this? How is this going? But also I want you to tell me what are you taking from them?
What I'm taking number one is joy.
Yeah.
Coaching at the professional level and college level, it's all about winning. There is nothing else. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what any college coach says. That the reality is you need to win. And so sometimes that joy gets taken away. When you work with young people from 7 years old to 18, the sheer joy of just coming into the gym is amazing. Like just the laughter, the smile, coach, great seeing you, the greetings.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Um, I think on the other side of it though, and you probably know this as a player yourself, is that basketball sports is our greatest joy and probably our greatest headache as well too, because we want to be so good, we didn't reach the level we wanted to. So we have this love kind of hate relationship. And I think every player goes through that. And especially now in today's world, is that you have that compacted with I think the expectations and the pressure from parents and coaches as well too, and just the sport on taking yourself to another. And that every game you have to be better. Every practice has to be better than the last practice. Well, if that was true, then I would be in the NBA making millions and millions of dollars. But
Me
that's
too.
not
Me
true. Like you and I both, you know what I mean? Like, so I think it's those things. It's like the constant ups and downs, then figuring out what is sort of like that sweet spot to really inspire. I don't like the word motivation. I don't like the word passion, because ultimately, actually, I heard this yesterday. You may actually like this. Let me see if I could find the quote. You're the quote as a coach. So my job as a coach is I could bring you opportunity, but I cannot bring you determination, right? And
I love that.
that's like I heard that yesterday and it hit me because, I hear a lot of parents, oh, my son's losing the passion, the drive. And listen, we're here to give you the opportunity and give you the joy. Like what you do with it is what you do with it. And eventually you have to have this intrinsic, inspiration, motivation to push forward.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. I love this. Please send me that after the call.
Yeah, I will. I will.
But okay, let me take you a little bit back. So, how you started, why you entered the world of basketball, how did you end up being a coach? Uh, Tell us, how did you end up
Yeah.
being in Dubai in 2025? Talking with me.
Oh, well, um, all right. So, I mean, I played all the sports growing up. I grew up in Los Angeles. So you play all the different sports and I guess I kind of gravitated toward basketball. Back then there were no basketball academies, there's no basketball trainers. You're just outside, like learning just how to shoot on your own, right? So I watch a young player shoot, and they want us to work on shooting, but I was like, yeah, I get it, but no one helped me with shooting. I watched someone, and you learn from watching, right? So I played basketball, played in high school, played college. Wasn't a great player at all. I just happened to have really good teammates. And in college, I just like after 2 years, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. You mean I got to take 700 shots just to take 3 shots in a game? Because listen, I'm as much as I think I'm tall, I'm not that tall. I'm not long. I'm not athletic. There's only so much I could do on the basketball court. So I got into coaching, and I really got into coaching because, and this is honestly what I thought coaching was. I thought coaching was so amazing and so cool because I wanted to tell people what to do. Like I loved it. Like I went to coach so I could tell you what to do because that's how I saw it, right? And so the first couple years, I'm telling people what to do, and I'm a young high school coach, and I'm yelling, I'm screaming, but then over time, it's like that's not what coaching is at all. Like coaching is impact. It's helping players get to another level, helping players see themselves in another light. It's to give them joy. It's to bring them all the different things that we strive to do.
Yeah.
And so then over time, like I changed my coaching. My 20s, I was a yeller and screamer. In my 30s, I looked more disappointed. I didn't scream as much, but I was more stern. And now in my 40s, I'm just like, hey, like, what do we got to do? Like, I've become this super calm coach because the reality is our players are going to mimic what we do. So if I go crazy, they're going to go crazy, which is going to cause the referees to take care of the game and do all these things. So I'm more calm. I'm more like, hey, let's do this. Let's do this. I want to learn more of how the player responds, rather than how they act based on me yelling at them. Like a big thing when it comes to coaching, when you coach kids, right? You always have like 3 or 4 kids at the end of the line, and they're talking and they're not paying attention.
Yeah.
And what do we say as coaches? You know what? Those kids don't pay attention. Are you kids listening back there? Do you want to be good or not? Right? But let's be honest. The really good listeners in basketball did not grow up to be star players. Right? The
No.
ones who went against everything, the one who was talking. So I look at it as like, okay, if that young person is not paying attention, then are they sitting too long? Do we have them standing in a line too long? What aren't we doing to get their mind and body moving in one motion so that they could perform?
Mm-hmm. Nice. Very, very, very interesting explanation. Um, so how did you end up
I
being
don't know
a
that.
Duke? How did you end up being a Duke? That's my biggest, every time I talk about Coach H, I'm like, yeah, he was a Duke. So tell us about this experience.
Um, let's see. I'm trying to remember when it was. So I had finished. So Duke, so I coached women's basketball at Duke, and that was my very first college experience. Before that, I had coached in the NBA G League with the Celtics. I coached in the professional Japanese league. Um, been all over the place in different pro leagues in the States. And I would always do Coach K's basketball camp on the men's side, and then Coach Joanne or Coach P, as they called her, the women's camp for 2 years in a row. And for me, like to be honest, I'm not boring, right? So I'm like, I'm in your face. I'm like, hey, what's going on? How are what's I'm always like moving my hands, as you can tell. But Coach P and I had finished coaching in the Philippines. I just finished coaching in the Philippines, and I was like in camp, like selling her book, like, hey, this is her book. She's amazing, blah blah blah. And then one day she went up to me. She goes, H. Everybody calls me H. She's like, H. I've got a great low-paying, non-coaching job on my staff. And I was like, oh, that sounds attractive. Non-coaching and low-paying. I love it. And she's some of my staff will reach out to you. I said, all right, beautiful. So I get a phone call. They're like, hey, all right, Coach P wants to hire you, blah, blah, blah. Uh, where did you finish college? I was like, I never finished college. And by then I was like 34 years old. All right, or maybe 35. I don't remember. In my mid 30s, basically. So no one had
Okay.
ever asked me about my college, nothing. They were like, she was like, well, we can't hire. I said, all right, cool. Thanks so much. I hung up. Thought about it, talked to one of my mentors, Don Casey, a former NBA coach, and he's like, what are you doing, man? Like, how much, like, what do you need to finish? I said, I need two classes. I need speech and statistics. He said,
Wait,
finish them.
you
I said,
need the speech class? You?
yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. I did a speech class and a statistics, and speech. I don't know if you could tell, but I think I did pretty good in that class.
I think you passed, yeah.
Statistics, yeah, statistics. I had failed 3 times, so I had 6 weeks to finish. So I found a university that would allow me to finish in whatever time. Speech was easy. Had my neighbors come in, blah blah blah. I talk, talk, talk. Boom, send it out. Great. Statistics. They sent me the book. I'm like looking through this. I'm like, yo, I can't. There's no way I'm gonna pass this class. I went on this thing in the States. They have a website called Craigslist where you can find like tutors or whatever. So boom, tutor. I met this tutor at Starbucks. I mean, I judged him. He came in, had a green big mohawk, ripped jeans. I was like, this is my tutor. I am in trouble. Sat down. He looked through it, went to pages. He was like, hey man, you pay me $900. I'll finish your whole class for you. I was like, boom, let's do it. Let's do it that way. He did my class. I got an A with, I mean, obviously I didn't get the A on my own, with the help of my tutor. I got the A. So then, anyways, boom, I got the job at Duke. And then for the first year, I was not a coach. I was like director of social, of like media relations. So I talked to the media, I talked to uh, everybody. And then 8 months later, I was at the drive-through at a fast food restaurant called Taco Bell in the United States.
Hmm.
And Coach P called me and said, "Hey, I'm going to move you up to assistant coach. Are you interested? Like, are you ready? I'd love for you to be the assistant coach." I'm like, "Coach, this is amazing. I would love to." Because you don't sound excited. I said, "Well, Coach, let me tell you. If I'll tell you how excited. I'm so excited that if you're right here right now, I would make out with you right here in my car. This is how excited I am." All she did, she laughed. She's like, she goes, H, you're gonna be amazing. And I was at Duke for 7 years. Yeah, 12 WNBA players like Chelsea Gray, Trisha Liston. We made it to the Final Four, no, Elite Eight. Yeah, and I was there for 8 years.
After telling her this phrase. Nice.
Yes. Yeah. Because the one thing I found is like, you know, like there's right when you read the room, you know what you can and cannot say to people, right?
Yeah.
So I've had already worked with her for 8 months. So and I was joking around with her, and so it's like, so like, I mean, I did take a chance. Don't get me wrong. I was like, I can't believe I just said that, but it's like I think it's also you have the power to make someone else comfortable because she was taking a chance on me. I never coached college basketball. It was my first women's basketball experience, coaching experience, period. And she's like, yeah, we'll give it to this guy who has virtually no experience. And now we're going to give him a top 10 assistant program, coaching job in a top 10 program. And I mean, when it was Twitter, it's X now, but Twitter was crazy. Like, who is Hernando? Like, I got bad mouth. So like, oh, this is like, why would they give it that guy? This shows that Duke is not committed. Blah blah blah. So that was fun. That was fun. But that meant I lived rent free in so many people's minds.
Boom. Um, sometimes I've been having conversations with different coaches when they speak about women's basketball, I can see their faces. They're a little bit like not really excited about it. They're like, "Yeah, I would never coach women's basketball, or I would never again coach women," um, which I don't really get, and I don't really like to hear, obviously. But I would like to hear what you think about this. I think it's also a topic now that many also male basketball teams are trying to have female coaches, female staff, for them to go and coach women's basketball in top level, as we know that it's growing like crazy everywhere in the world finally. But how do you feel about this?
I think coaching women's basketball is phenomenal. Like, I think there are a few things that you have to be aware of. First of all, I think for the coaches who do not like women's basketball or coaching women's basketball, I would just argue what kind of coach you are, not in a disrespectful way, but if you're a coach that relies on pick and roll all the time, two-person game all the time, then yeah, it's going to be a struggle for you. But if you're someone who understands that in women's basketball, women's players will do exactly what you want them to do. I'll tell a player, hey, I need you to set a screen here. Where? Here. Like right here? Yes, right. Like you got to be so direct and exactly what the plans are. Now, I may get a little argument from people, but there is a distinct difference in men and women. Okay. And it applies to coaching. Men are just like, yeah, whatever. Where do I set the screen? They'll go home for Christmas and go to the gym right away and spend little time with their family. You tell them to shoot the elbow, they'll shoot at the 3-point line. Like, but they'll just argue.
Yeah.
Women are different. Women are task oriented. If I ask you to set a screen at the elbow at 45 degrees, I guarantee you it will be at the elbow at 45 degrees. You know what I mean? And so the knock on women's basketball is like, oh, there's no free flowing. Where's the IQ? No, hello, that's where our job is to teach and to bring up. Like those are things that are real. That's real. Um, because it's like, listen, women want to win more than men. Like women's basketball is tough. Like when you say you got to go hard, they go right through a wall. Like it's unbelievable how hard they come off the screen. I mean, they're going whipping through stuff. You go, hey, we're gonna go 5-on-0, we're gonna run our offense. They're cutting hard. I'm like, what is happening here? There's that part of it. Then the other part that I truly, truly love is that I get a lot of thank yous. Like a coach, yeah, at the end of practice, you actually feel like, oh, that's cool. Someone, someone has some gratitude with it. It's not a knock on men. It's different. It's totally different. I also think though is that you have to coach as we progress forward, you have to coach women differently than men. You can't go in the locker room and scream and yell and cuss them out and expect women to be like, oh, yeah, I want to fight for this person. What? They're like, no, F you. We're not doing that. You've got to find the trigger points that gets them and allows them to be their best self because they want to be the best, but they want to be the best in the parameters so that they are in the team concept.
Nice. Lovely explanation.
And I talk way too much. I apologize, everybody.
It's okay. It's okay. That's why we invited you here. I invited you here so you can share all of these things and you can talk as much as you want.
I talk too
Um,
much.
all right. So one last question for you. I know it's gonna take like other 30 minutes, but um, uh, and I hate when people ask me this question personally, but what is what is your dream for basketball? What is something that you haven't done that you would love to do, and sometimes you go to sleep and you're like, whoa, this would be my dream, to make this
Yeah.
happen, or to get there. Maybe that is to coach a specific player, maybe that is to coach a specific league, or maybe to be a game changer for something. What do you think?
Yeah. No, I like to be a GM of a professional team. I think
Me too.
when you're a GM, right? And there's different GMs, right? There's
Yeah.
as a GM, you have your hands on everything. Roster development is just one small piece of it, right? It's in getting aligned with the coach. And then as a GM, you decide, okay, am I going to align myself with the head coach, or am I going to choose a head coach that's going to align themselves with me and the direction of the franchise that I want to go in? I think being a GM just allows you to be outside of the coaching part, but then I guess someone would argue control, but no, you're bringing everybody together to be one fluid family going in one direction, which is winning a championship. All right. It's the same thing as being a director on a film set. It's the same thing in leading a big organization. Like you're the GM, your job, it's more than just draft picks and putting in a position to pick up this player, right? You know as well as I do, you're calling someone for a trade. Their agent is calling them saying, I want more money. Their coach is saying, we don't have enough money to go to win games. The player is saying, hey, you brought me here to play 30 minutes a game, and coach is tripping because I'm playing 15 minutes a game. Like, I like the puzzle part of it. I really, really do. And I think that's, some of my work here at the NBA basketball school in Dubai. It's a puzzle. I'm not on the court. I mean, I'm on the court, but I'm trying to figure out what are the pieces from 8-year-old to an 18-year-old. In college, I did it when you're 18 to 24, and as a professional basketball coach, I did it when they were 22 to 40 of all. So yeah, that would be that for me. That would be a gym would be amazing.
Me too.
We're on our
Maybe
way, Kiara. We are on our way.
we got this.
Right. No one knows it yet, but we are on our way.
We are. Do you have any question for me?
Um, yes.
Of course.
Why are you starting this amazing endeavor of the podcast?
I feel like us people working in sports, and especially in basketball, we have so much to share. We all coming from completely different backgrounds, completely different stories. We all somehow ended up being on this in this industry, in this country, in this field, in that game, and we met. So I feel like each one of us has something really interesting to share. And me being as a player, as a former professional player, but also as a coach, and I've seen both sides. um, I would love to pass my knowledge and knowledge of people that have succeeded in the industry to the young athletes and young professionals, that they can do whatever they're dreaming. And I've done some things that, like for example, me being in the national team of Switzerland, I was never ever dream, even 2 days before this happened. But after that, I'm always like, anything is possible, anything can happen. And I'm now where I'm at. I'm in Abu Dhabi. I'm doing this amazing job. I work with amazing people from NBA, from EuroLeague, from FIBA. I never dreamt of having this job. And I didn't study sports management. I didn't do sports marketing. I studied fashion. I was working in fashion, and somehow I ended up here. So I feel like all these stories can inspire the young athletes, the young professionals, that they can achieve anything they want, and they can be anyone they want to be.
You see, that's why you are an inspiration.
I am. Thank you, Coach H. Thanks a
Oh, no,
lot.
thank you for having me. Yeah. Well, it's great. Always great hearing. I love your set. It looks amazing. The questions were fluid. I mean, you're in your own element. You're in your own element. So thanks for having me, Kara.